was the end of August and 80 degrees out. Immediately she sat down and played chopsticks. I looked out at Jennifer. She was running down the length of the deck, jumping onto the railing and then leaping off, posing like one of those red flying horses you see on old mobile gas signs. I watched her do it once, and then the second time her foot caught on the railing, and she went over the edge the hard way. A minute later she came around the edge of the house limping, her tutu dented and dirty, pink tights ripped at both knees. I grabbed Barbie from the piano bench and raced her into Jennifer's room. "I was just getting warmed up," she said. "I can play better than that, really." I could hear Jennifer crying as she walked up the stairs. "Jennifer's coming," I said. I put her down on the dresser and realized Ken was missing. "Where's Ken?" I asked quickly. "Out with Jennifer," Barbie said. I met Jennifer at the door. "Are you okay?" I asked. She cried harder. "I saw the fall." "Why didn't you stop me?" she said. "From falling?" She nodded and showed me her knees. "Once you start to fall, no one can stop you." I noticed Ken was tucked into the waistband of her tutu. "They catch you," Jennifer said. I started to tell her it was dangerous to go leaping around with Ken stuck in your waistband, but you don't tell someone who's already crying that they did something bad. I walked her into the bathroom and took out the hydrogen peroxide. I was a first aid expert. I was the kind of guy who walked around waiting for someone to have a heart attack just so I could practice my CPR technique. "Sit down," I said. Jennifer sat down on the toilet without putting the lid down. Ken was stabbing her all over the place, and instead of pulling him out, she squirmed around trying to get comfortable, like she didn't know what else to do. I took him out for her. She watched as though I was performing surgery or something. "He's mine," she said. "Take off your tights," I said. "No," she said. "They're ruined." I said, "Take them off." Jennifer took off her ballet slippers and peeled off her tights. She was wearing my old underoos with superheroes on them, Spider-Man and Superman and Batman all poking out from the dirty dented tutu. I tried not to say anything, but it looked funny as hell to see a flat boy's crotch in underwear. I had the feeling they didn't bother making underwear for Ken because they knew it would look too weird on him. I poured peroxide onto her bloody knees. Jennifer screamed into my ear. She bent down and examined herself, poking her purple fingers into torn skin. Her tutu bunched up and rubbed against her face, scraping it. I worked on her knees, removing little pebbles and pieces of grass from the area. She started crying again. "You're okay," I said. "You're not dying." She didn't care. "Do you want anything?" I asked, trying to be nice. "Barbie," she said. It was the first time I'd handled Barbie in public. I picked her up like she was a complete stranger and handed her to Jennifer, who grabbed her by the hair. I started to tell her to ease up, but couldn't. Barbie looked at me and I shrugged. I went downstairs and made Jennifer one of my special Diet Cokes. "Drink this," I said, handing it to her. She took 4 giant gulps and immediately I felt guilty about having used a whole Valium. "Why don't you give a little to your Barbie?" I said. "I'm sure she's thirsty too." Barbie winked at me and I could have killed her. First off for doing it in front of Jennifer, and second because she didn't know what the hell she was winking about. I went into my room and put the piano away. I figured as long as it was in the original box I'd be safe. If anyone found it, I'd say it was a present for Jennifer. Wednesday, Ken and Barbie had their heads switched. I went to get Barbie, but there, on top of the dresser, were Barbie and Ken, sort of. Barbie's head was on Ken's body and Ken's head was on Barbie. At first I thought it was just me. "Hi," Barbie's head said. I couldn't respond. She was on Ken's body and I was looking at Ken in a whole new way. I picked up the Barbie head, Ken, and immediately Barbie's head rolled off. It rolled across the dresser, across the white doily, past Jennifer's collection of miniature ceramic cats, and boom, it fell on the floor. I saw Barbie's head rolling and about to fall, and then falling, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. I was frozen and paralyzed with Ken's headless body in my left hand. Barbie's head was on the floor, her hair spread out underneath it like angels' wings in the snow, and I expected to see blood. A wide, rich pool of blood, or at least a little bit coming out of her ear or her nose or her mouth, and I looked at her and her head on the floor and saw nothing but Barbie with eyes like the cosmos, looking up at me. I thought she was dead. "Christ, that hurt," she said, and I already had a headache from these earrings. There were little red dot ball earrings jutting out of Barbie's ears. "They go right through my head, you know. I guess it takes getting used to," Barbie said. I noticed my mother's pin cushion on the dresser next to the other Barbie body Ken head. The pin cushion was filled with hundreds of pins with flat silver ends and pins with red, yellow, and blue dot ball ends. "You have pins in your head," I said to Barbie's head on the floor. Is that supposed to be a compliment?" I was starting to hate her. I was being perfectly clear and she didn't understand me. I looked at Ken. He was in my left hand, my fist wrapped around his waist, and I looked at him and I realized my thumb was on his bump. My thumb was pressed against Ken's crotch, and as soon as I noticed it, I got an automatic hard-on, the kind you don't know you're getting, and it's just there. I started rubbing Ken's bump and watching my thumb like it was a large screen projection of a porno movie. "What are you doing?" Barbie's head said. Get me up, help me." I was rubbing Ken's bump hump with my finger inside his bathing suit. I was standing in the middle of my sister's room with my pants pulled down. "Aren't you going to help me?" Barbie said. Aren't you going to help me?" she kept asking. In the second before I came, I held Ken's head... In the second before I came, I held Ken's head whole in front of me. I held Ken upside down above my dick and came inside of Ken like I could never in Barbie. I came into Ken's body, and as soon as I was done, I wanted to do it again. I wanted to fill Ken and put his head back on like a perfume bottle. I wanted Ken to be the vessel for my secret supply. I came in Ken and then I remembered he wasn't mine. He didn't belong to me. I took him into the bathroom and soaked him in warm water and ivory liquid. I brushed his inside with Jennifer's toothbrush and left him alone in the cold water rinse. "Aren't you going to help me? You're going to help me, aren't you?" Barbie kept asking. I started thinking she'd been brain damaged by the accident. I picked her head up off the floor. "What took you so long?" she asked. "I had to take care of Ken." "Is he okay?" "He'll be fine. He's soaking in the bathroom." I held Barbie's head in my hand. "What are you going to do?" "What do you mean?" I said. Did my little incident, my moment with Ken, mean that right then that there was some decision about my future life as queer bait had to be made? "This afternoon. Where are we going? What are we doing?" I miss when I don't see you," Barbie said. You see me every day," I said. I don't really see you. I sit on top of the dresser, and if you pass by, I see you. Take me to your room. I have to bring Ken's body back." I went into the bathroom. I rinsed out Ken, blew him dry with my mother's blow dryer, and played with him again. It was a boy thing. We were boys together. I thought sometimes I might play ball with him, and I might take him out instead of Barbie. "Everything takes you so long," Barbie said when I got back in the room. I put Ken back up on the dresser, picked up Barbie's body, knocked Ken's head off, and smashed Barbie's head back down on her own damn neck. "I don't want to fight with you," Barbie said, as I carried her into my room. We don't have enough time together to fight. Fuck me," she said. I didn't feel like it. I was thinking of fucking Ken, and Ken being a boy. I was thinking about Barbie and Barbie being a girl, and I was thinking about Jennifer switching Barbie and Ken's heads, chewing Barbie's feet off, hanging Barbie from the ceiling fan, and who knows what else. "Fuck me," Barbie said again. I ripped Barbie's clothing off. Between Barbie's legs, Jennifer had drawn pubic hairs in reverse. She'd formed an upside down. She'd drawn it upside down, so like a fountain spewing up and out in grade-wide arcs. I spit directly onto Barbie, and with my thumb and finger rubbed the ink lines, erasing them. Barbie moaned. Why do you let her do this to you?" "Jennifer owns me," Barbie moaned. "Jennifer owns me," she said, so easily and with pleasure. I was totally jealous. Jennifer owned Barbie, and it made me crazy. Obviously, it was one of those relationships that could only exist between women. Jennifer could own her because it didn't matter that Jennifer owned her. Jennifer didn't want Barbie. She had her. "You're perfect," I said. "I'm getting fat," Barbie said. Barbie was crawling all over me, and I wondered if Jennifer knew she was a nymphomaniac. I wondered if Jennifer knew what a nymphomaniac was. "You don't belong with little girls," I said. Barbie ignored me. There were scratches on Barbie's chest and stomach. She didn't say anything about them at first. I pretended not to notice. As I was touching her, I could feel they were deep, like slices. The edges were rough. My finger caught on them, and I couldn't help but wonder. "Jennifer," I said, massaging the cuts with my tongue, as though my tongue, like sandpaper, would erase them. Barbie nodded. In fact, I thought of using sandpaper, but didn't know how I would explain it to Barbie. "You have to lie still and let me rub you really hard with this stuff that's like terry cloth dipped in cement." I thought she might even like it if I made it into like an S&M kind of thing and handcuffed her first. I ran my tongue back and forth over the slivers, back and forth over the words "Copyright 1966 Mattel Inc. Malaysia" tattooed on her back. Tonguing the tattoo drove Barbie crazy. She said it had something to do with the scar tissue being extremely sensitive. Barbie pushed herself hard against me. I could feel her slices rubbing my skin. I was thinking that Jennifer might kill Barbie. Without meaning to, she might just go over the line, and I wondered if Barbie would know what was happening, or if she'd try to stop it. We fucked. That's what I called it, fucking. In the beginning, Barbie said she hated the word, which made me like it even more. She hated it because it was so strong and hard, and she said we weren't fucking, we were making love. I told her she had to be kidding. Fuck me, she said that afternoon. And I knew the end was coming soon. Fuck me, she said. And I didn't like the sound of the word. Friday, when I went into Jennifer's room, there was something in the air. The place smelled like a science lab, a fire, a failed experiment. Barbie was wearing a strapless yellow evening dress. Her hair was wrapped in a high bun, more like a wedding cake than something Betty Crocker would whip up. There seemed to be layers and layers of angel's hair spinning in a circle above her head. She had yellow pins through her ears and gold fuck-me shoes that matched the belt around her waist. For a moment I thought of the belt and imagined tying her up, but more than restraining her arms and legs, I thought of wrapping the belt around her face, tying it across her mouth. I looked at Barbie and saw something dark and thick, like a scar rising up over the edge of her dress. I grabbed her and pulled the front of her dress down. "Hey, big boy," Barbie said. "Don't I even get a hello?" Barbie's breasts had been sawed out by the knife. There were 100 marks from a blade that might have had 5 rows of teeth like shark jaws. As if that wasn't enough, she'd been dissolved by fire. Blue and yellow flames had been pressed against her and held there until she melted. And eventually became the fire that burned herself. All of it had been somehow stirred with the lead of a pencil, the point of a pen, and left to cool. Molten Barbie flesh had been left to harden. Black and pink plastic swirled together in the crater Jennifer had dug out of her breast. I examined her in detail like a scientist, a pathologist, a fucking medical examiner. I studied the burns, the gouged out area, as if by looking closely I'd find something, an explanation, a way out. A disgusting taste came up in my mouth like I'd been sucking on batteries. It came up and sank back down into my stomach, leaving my mouth puckered with the bitter metallic flavour of sour saliva. I coughed up spit onto my shirt sleeve, then rolled the sleeve over to cover the wet spot. With my index finger I touched the edge of the burn as lightly as I could. The round rim of a scar broke off under my finger. I almost dropped her. "It's just a reduction," Barbie said. "Jennifer and I are even now." Barbie was smiling. She had the same expression on her face as when I first saw her and fell in love. She had the same expression she always had, and I couldn't stand it. She was smiling and she was burned. She was smiling and she was ruined. I pulled her dress back up above the scar line. I put her down carefully on the doily on top of the dresser and started to walk away. "Hey," Barbie said, "aren't we going to play?" So there we go. That was, if anyone's interested in the name, A Real Doll by A.M. Holmes from the book Mondo Barbie. There is like other stuff within it, but it doesn't really have the same like shocking meme factor that does, if I'm going to be honest. Why? I just, it's a rare story. Thought I'd share it. Why not? The other stories, I've not finished the book. They're pretty hit and miss. I might just read random extracts. "That's true," Barbie said, "but I still like you. How's your sandwich?" "Good, but not as good as your sandwich," the ugly doll answered. That's from a different story. Ken had been looking for a Valentine's. Oh, yeah, I'll read this. I've never read this one, so if it's fucking just as weird, and I can't warn you, I'm sorry. It's called The Black Lace Panties Triangle by Belinda Subraman. Ken had been looking for a Valentine's gift for his girlfriend, Barbie. When he saw a mannequin posed in a sexual position with an orgasmic expression on her face, he knew exactly what he would give her. Black lace panties, just like the ones on the dummy. It was almost like a sign from heaven, like something he'd always needed had been revealed to him. He could just imagine how Barbie would look and how he'd react. He could hardly wait to get them on her and off her. Barbie was delighted that Ken gave her a gift that would please them both. She felt a little selfish for just having given him a card, but she vowed to make up for it with her new black lace panties. She promised she wouldn't take them off until he was totally satisfied. Ken reacted just as he knew he would. He ravished her in every position with his strapped-on cock. There was no need to remove the panties, as the crotch was no more than a string that could easily get pushed aside. Things got to be very intense as Barbie's apartment. Ken couldn't get enough and wouldn't allow Barbie to leave his side. When she went into the bathroom, he followed her. While she brushed her teeth, he entered her from behind. When she attempted to take a shower, it only meant intercourse standing up with water as the background. Sorry, I'm struggling to read this. It's all flying everywhere in my brain. After 14 straight hours of this, Barbie was sore and had all she could take. She told Ken she really needed to rest, but Ken had only reminded her of a promise. He made her keep wearing the panties. This is kind of nasty. Barbie was not only sore and tired, but now she was also growing disgusted. Love had turned to pure lust, and now lust was turning into abuse. He kept pushing himself on her until she had to yell, "Ken, this has gone far enough. Save some of it for the rest of your life. Don't spend it all on one day. Go home, Ken." This story is getting... I don't know if I should continue or not. Yeah, I mean, like I say, they seem like interesting stories to analyze, but I should give people a heads up. Like I say, sometimes, like, some of the stories in here are just funny and silly. A lot of them are just about, like, childhood and how young people kind of learn things through Barbie. Oh god, I need to pin that as well, sorry. Cool. Don't spend it all in one day. Go home, Ken. But Ken dived for her crotch once more. Lust was like a growing cancer in him. Barbie managed to beat him to the bathroom and lock the door. She tore off the black panties and threw them in the trash can. She then put on her robe from the back of the bathroom door and went out to her closet for some clothes. As soon as Ken saw her, his face fell with disappointment, but he said nothing. He watched her dress and put on her makeup, and still he said nothing. Finally, she got her purse and said, "Ken, I'm going out for a while. I want you to collect yourself and then go back to your apartment and get some rest. When you feel like your old self again, give me a call." 2 hours later, Barbie returned to find Ken gone. She halfway expected to find a note, but there wasn't one. She knew he'd call soon enough, but he didn't. Not that day, or the next, or ever. Later, when she went into the bathroom to take a shower, she'd noticed that her black lace panties were gone too. So that was The Black Lace Panties Triangle by Belinda Subraman. I can read one of the poems, maybe. All the ones I'm turning to that I'm like, oh, this is an interesting one. They're all like the weird, sexy ones, which, you know. Barbie Doll by Marge Piercy. The The girl... This girl child was born as usual and presented dolls that did pee-pee and miniature GE stoves and irons and wee lipsticks the colour of cherry candy. Then in the magic of puberty, a classmate said, "You have a great big nose and fat legs." She was healthy, tested intelligent, possessed strong arms and back, abundant sexual drive and manual dexterity. She went to and fro apologizing. Everyone saw a fat nose and thick legs. She was advised to play coy, exhorted to come on hearty, exercise, diet, smile, and wheedle. Her good nature wore out like a fan belt, so she cut off her nose and her legs and offered them up. In the casket displayed on satin she lay, with the undertaker's cosmetics painted on, a turned-up putty nose dressed in pink and white nightie. "Doesn't she look pretty?" everyone said. Consummation at last. To every woman, a happy ending. It ain't 6:30 for me. It's 12:30 for me. The other one tuning in at 6:30. Why are you doing this, eh? Or actually, it might be 1:30. I'm not sure what time it is. Okay, I'll do one more Barbie story. Barbie by Jose Padua. I am Barbie. I live in your dollhouse. You change my clothes every day. If I could get out of here, I would kill you all. That was Barbie by Jose Padua. And this is Hell's Angel Barbie by... God, the next one's called Confederate Barbie. Jesus freaking Christ, this book's something else. What the hell? Barbie's hog was bad riding beside... Sorry, this is Hell's Angels Barbie by Jeff Weddle. Barbie's hog was bad riding beside Sonny at the front of the pack, me tagging, behind sucking up fumes but not minding cause. It gave me a great view of Barbie's cute behind. Vibrating with the bike, I could tell that she was near climax. The way her Harley swerved almost into the path of a semi and back just in time as she winked at me in her rear view and nudged Sonny to pull off near some bushes. I figured, what the hell, there's some plastic in the factory, almost glad as the rest of us whooped and gunned our engines. Racing forwards to kick ass on some town in the cold American night. Sorry for reading it like that, but that was, that had no punctuation, so, yeah, it's definitely a cursed book. Like, I expected it to be, like, I kind of expected it to be a bit more, like, fanficky and, like, saccharine, but the whole thing is, yeah, edgy. I'm gonna do two more. Okay. So I might have fat phobia in. I'm not doing Confederate Barbie. I mean, I'm trying to do these content warnings, but I'm probably going to miss some and things like that. But I'll try my best, and I'll try and give warnings whilst I read if I end up stumbling onto something which is, shocking. Barbie Meets the Scariest Fatso Yet by Cookie Lupton. That's a really good name, Cookie Lupton. Oh my god. So Barbie's depressed, and it's January, the second semester of her sophomore year at State U. She goes to get help for starving herself, plunks her name on the waiting list and wonders how to break the news. Sometimes, oh. Okay, I thought it might be fat phobia. It seems to be more of a content warning for eating disorders. So Barbie's depressed, and it's January, the second semester of her sophomore year at State U. She goes to get help for starving herself, plunks her name on the waiting list and wonders how to break the news. Sometimes I don't eat, sometimes I puke, I feel like hell, so fix it. 10 pounds means the world, and Barbie chews her tongue like a wad of unnecessary fat because all fat is bad and belongs in the basement. She feels dank and musty, like mildew from an overripe June in 71 that's locked in the trunk, with sweaters and mothballs and old cat glasses, and that's while he walks out. Freddie Doolittle, PhD, 400 pounds of polyester plaid with a shredded carrot skull cap and a light blue oxygen face. I didn't. Yeah, I thought there was a rare find that people have been buying this since I did it last. I only have 1 minute 35 left. So there we go. That's the full story time that you'll get. Thanks for joining me. I was going to try and do one more called Playing with Dolls by David Trinidad. That one seemed a bit more wholesome. That one's just about boys playing with dolls rather than heavy shit, but I discovered it because I have a song called An Academic's Lament on Barbie. It's called An Academic's Lament on Barbie. And, yeah, I had to research Barbie a lot to write the song about Barbie. So that's why I found this book. I'm just interested in Barbie as a kind of character, and just dolls in general. I find it just interesting how dolls exist in like every culture, and they have this significance, and dolls are often used to teach children how to socialize. They're normally used within like spells to represent people. The dolls have a lot of kind of projected like stuff surrounding them, energy. I'll tell you what, I'll start a second live. I'll do a quick AMA with you all. Why not? So rejoin if you want. Bye.